Hey there YouTube, this is Vargas XX78 with another collection pickup video, comic book edition. These are all of the comic books that were waiting for me at my comic book shop for this month. I was actually thinking of waiting until going next week to pick up all of the comic books, but next week is going to be the 4th of July weekend, and I know the border crossing gets insane during an American holiday. So I decided to skip ahead and actually go this week, because this was my last chance to catch up on all my comic books before Comic-Con. By the time I record this video, there's only 2 weeks away before Comic-Con. And I like to catch up on my reading before going there, because, that way I avoid any sort of major spoilers. But, so I decided to go, picked up all my stuff, and like always, I wanted to share with you guys. Now, I just got home from the comic shop, so on the way to my home, I just sort of breezed through some of the comic books. So if I mess up a storyline or a plot element, I apologize. But let's get started. First book I wanted to talk about is Avengers vs. X-Men, issue 6. The people that were possessed by part of the Phoenix, Cyclops, Emma Frost, Magic, Colossus, and Namor, take it upon themselves to try to fix the world. So they're, making deserts blossom again, and they're fighting, political things like the tyrants in Africa or something like that. So they're basically changing the world according to them. The Avengers obviously are not happy, so they're still trying to cause guerrilla warfare with the X-Men. By the end of the issue, Cyclops gets fed up and he declares no more Avengers. So things are gonna escalate, and you can already tell the power is getting to Cyclops. So yeah, things are not looking well for the Avengers and for the X-Men in general. I'm really surprised for this series. I really think it's coming along really well. So I'm really looking forward to the rest of the issue. So I really want to see how this thing concludes. Picked up Avengers vs. X-Men, the miniseries. Well, the extra miniseries, issue 3 of 6. The one where they showcase some more in detail some of the battles. And here they had the Black Widow versus Magic. Obviously, Magic won. And Colossus, Juggernaut versus the Thing, and Colossus Juggernaut won. So it was interesting that the first 2 issues, the Avengers, won their battles, and now the X-Men are starting to rack up some victories. The artwork is good, but again, I don't know. I don't know how necessary this miniseries was, but still, it's a good series. Picked up Amazing Fantasy, Spider-Man. This is actually a reprint of the story with the origin of Spider-Man, done by Stan Lee. So they reprint that part of Amazing Fantasy, while they also reprint the first issue of Amazing Spider-Man. The only thing they did is they took the original artwork and they gave it a digital facelift, which I actually didn't like. I would have preferred if they just reprinted the original artwork without any modification. But basically, this is as close as I'm ever going to get to actually owning Amazing Fantasy and Amazing Spider-Man issue 1. So that's what I decided to pick up. Picked up Amazing Spider-Man 687, concluding the Ends of the Earth storyline. Dr. Octopus has control of the Avengers, so Spider-Man, Black Widow, and Silver Sable have to stop them. Everything kind of concluded kind of lackluster, and there's a big death in this issue, but that happens off-panel. So, that might not really be a death. It might be a plan there. But it concluded, again, kind of like lackluster. I still prefer Spider Island. It was a great concept and it was a great idea, but again, the payoff was kind of meh. Then we have issue 688 of Amazing Spider-Man. In this one, Morbius, the living vampire, figures out a way to cure Dr. Connors, who got a few issues back got overtaken by the lizard. So the lizard's the dominant personality here. So they track down the lizard, they inject him with the serum, and they revert him back into human form, but it's still the lizard. The lizard personality is still dominant, but now he just got reverted back into a human. So that's actually going to be interesting to see how that plays out, because if the lizard still has his ability to mess up with people, now in human form, that's going to be interesting to see how that this whole thing resolves itself. But really really interesting on this storyline. Picked up Venom issue 19, part 2 of the Savage 6 storyline. Flash Thompson unmasks in front of Betty, and he basically tries to give her an explanation of what's going on. But Flash's family is in big trouble. It appears that the human fly ate Flash's mom, while at the same time they throw Flash's sister off a cliff or something, off a building. So yeah, things are not looking good for Flash. I really want to see how they solve everything here. Picked up a crossover that I wasn't thinking of picking up, but I decided to go for it. And this is Spider-Man. This is the first ever crossover between 616 Spider-Man and the new Ultimate Spider-Man. Mysterio creates this device, this peek into the Ultimate Universe, and then through a fight with Spider-Man, Spider-Man actually gets thrown into the Ultimate Universe, where he meets Ultimate Nick Fury and Ultimate Spider-Man and everyone. So, again, wasn't sure about picking it up, but I'm actually glad I did, because it's a really good miniseries so far. I like the artwork. I actually like the writing by Michael Bendis. So, yeah, I'm definitely going to pick up the rest of the issues, which I did, since they also released issue 2. But again, I'm really surprised about this miniseries. I actually ended up liking it a lot, so I'm going to complete the rest of the series. Even though I don't really follow Ultimate Spider-Man. Picked up the much hyped issue of Astonishing X-Men, issue 51. Prior issues to this, they've been like flashing forward and then flashing back between the Mind Control X-Men and Northstar. They very briefly resolved that, and the rest of the issue is just the wedding between Northstar and his boyfriend. So they have cameos from Alpha Flight and the Wolverine part of the X-Men team. It was really hyped, but meh. That's basically how I sum this up. Meh. So I don't know. I'll still pick it up because I want to see how everything concludes. But I would have actually, thought it would have been a better written issue. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't worth the hype, if that makes sense. Picked up Batman 10, which continues the Night of the Owl storyline. I don't really know where the storyline actually ended, but this continues it, and he fights. This is one of those issues I didn't read all the way through. He fights this guy that claims to be Batman's long-lost brother, who, took the owl serum, so now he's immortal. And he also dons this advanced techno suit. So, yeah. Again, Batman is a really well written comic book, and the artwork by Greg Capullo, again, is coming along really well. Picked up Batman and Robin issue 10. This was a really good issue because Batman unites all of the Robins to take a family portrait, except Jason Todd. He wasn't invited. So Damian gets into this argument that he's the best Robin ever. So he basically gets all the Robins together and says that he's going to beat them at whatever they excel and take a trophy from them to prove that he's the better Robin. And his first victim is Tim Drake, Red Robin. So this storyline I'm actually liking. I like the first part of this storyline because I do want to see how Damian goes up against Nightwing and Jason Todd. So really good issue. Picked up issue 2 of Batman Incorporated. After last issue, Damien was shot, so Ra's al Ghul basically invites Talia over to his place because he doesn't want the war with the detective, Batman. So he wants to keep her in house arrest, but Talia turns the tables on him and puts him on house arrest, proving finally to Ra's al Ghul that Talia is every bit as ruthless as he is. So he's finally proud of her and everything. Grant Morrison has always been kind of recently has been hit or miss, but this one's pretty good. I actually like this one a lot. Picked up Green Lantern 10, still diving into the origin of the Indigo tribe. They actually shut down the Indigo tribe, so everyone remembered who they were. Black Hand actually took off the ring and took off, to try to escape. Sinestro and Hal Jordan reboot the Indigo tribe, so everyone's back to being mind controlled. But because Black Hand took off the ring, he still has his own will. So what he does is that he jumps off a cliff and kills himself. So the ring, skips by him. But then a Black Lantern ring, puts back into his hand. So he's back as a Black Lantern. So yeah, that's gonna be interesting. And picked up Green Lantern New Guardians issue 10. The Reach ransack the world of the Blue Lanterns, and basically what they end up doing is that as much as Saint Walker is fighting to protect it, they have to escape because they can't fight the Reach anymore. So I don't know how that's going to work because the power battery was left behind. And I really hope they don't get rid of the Blue Lanterns because I actually do like the Blue Lanterns. So, good book. Picked up Justice League issue 10, The Villain's Crusade. This guy called Graves, who was a book writer, something happens and he he takes a grudge on the Justice League. So he goes into this mountain and gets powered up somehow. He gets into the Justice League watchtower and somehow drains the life out of the whole Justice League. So, yeah, this guy is set up to be a really powerful bad guy. And things look very, very bleak for the Justice League. Everyone gets taken down, so yeah, I want to see how that concludes. Picked up Simpsons Comics 191. Really good cover. But Lisa tries to get into the math Olympics, but she can't, get in. Basically, she joins this kind of an underground math group, so she's continually trying to beat people at math, but it goes to her head, like always. Lisa always, anything he does, it goes to her head. And Bart starts working at the Quickie Mart, but because he's such a prankster, he actually becomes a really good employee at the Quickie Mart. So, good issue. I liked it. Picked up Superman 10, In the Grip of Anguish. This is one of those issues that I kind of breezed, but they resolved the thing where Superman gets confused with someone else. So, yeah. Picked up X-Men Legacy 268. They showcase Frenzy, where she goes to Africa, which is being, in the grip of a tyrant, and she tries to help out this village. And they give her a little bit more of origin on Frenzy. Picked up X-Men Legacy 269, featuring Miss Marvel. Basically, the 5 X-Men that are Phoenix possessed start to change the world, and Miss Marvel goes to Rogue for help. Rogue thinks it's an attack, so they fight. They have a really cool moment where Rogue tries to absorb power from Miss Marvel, and they have this big conversation. But by the end of the issue, Magic takes Miss Marvel, and she's going to throw her into a limbo. So I'm guessing Rogue is not going to be happy with that, and she's going to join forces with Miss Marvel, which I actually think is it's a good idea. Picked up Uncanny X-Men issue 14. Basically, they just showcase that Mr. Sinister has his own palace, and he's constructed his own, a world full of Sinisters. But they show that he has clones of like Gambit, Cyclops, and he also has clones of Sabretooth. I'm sorry, he has clones of Sabretooth, which I thought was very weird because it was previously established that that can't happen. Both Sabretooth and Wolverine can't be cloned because of their healing factor. The only successful clone was X-23, and only because they did something where they changed the chromosome. But they couldn't. Even Sinister himself once said that he could not clone Sabretooth because of the healing factor. So I don't know what they did, but now Sinister has a whole bunch of Sabretooth clones, which makes no sense. That's my only gripe with this issue. But all in all, it was a good read, and it's going to be interesting to see how Phoenix possessed Cyclops takes the fight to Sinister. Oh, also he has a whole clone army of Madeline Pryor, so yeah. Picked up Marvel Zombies Destroy issue 3. This one actually confused me. I have to reread it again because it turns out that Howard the Duck and Dum Dum Dugan actually visit the world of the Marvel Zombies. Again, I might have been lost. I'm going to have to read it again because it is the world of the Marvel Zombies. This takes place when Zombie Thor actually went to Asgard and infected all of the Asgardians. So now all of the Asgard gods are zombies. And the only remaining guy is Loki, who explains what happens in issue 4. This is issue 4, and I really like the cover of this because it has like all the Asgardians going through the Rainbow Bridge after Howard the Duck and Dum Dum Dugan. And all they can do is just like throw a grenade back at them in the hopes that actually stops him. But I really like this cover. This cover is actually really awesome. So, but they only have one more issue to go. So I don't know how they're going to conclude this in a satisfying way. But again, I'm a huge fan of the Marvel Zombies. But again, I'm going to have to reread the whole miniseries because I kind of got lost. Picked up Witchblade 157, where Sarah takes a case that involves trolls and travels to this alternate dimension where medieval Witchblade from the medieval Spawn medieval Witchblade crossover is still alive after like 900 years. She's still alive and living in this world. So this is interesting. This is an interesting twist where Sarah Passini actually like literally physically meets an ancient Witchblade bearer. So really looking forward to the rest of that. Another crossover is Witchblade Red Sonja. Witchblade is still trying to deal with that fallen angel guy that was summoned. Well, in the past, Red Sonja, it gets the Witchblade thrown into her. So they discovered that the only way to beat the angel is by searching out Red Sonja's Hyperion blade, which she does in the past. So in the past, she's going to take the fight to the angel, and in the future, Sarah finally has access to those memories. So she goes looking for the blade. So both of them are going to take the fight to that fallen angel. So it's a quick read. I mean, I breezed through this book in like 5 minutes, but I actually did enjoy the cover and the crossover. Picked up Wolverine 308, concluding the Dr. Rod storyline. I didn't like it. I did not like the storyline at all. The artwork was kind of okay, but the storyline was just not cool. It didn't make any sense. So yeah, not much to talk about that. Picked up Wolverine and the X-Men issue 12, where Kid Gladiator takes the fight to the Avengers and almost single-handedly, beats them up. And at the end of the issue, Daddy comes to Earth. Gladiator bursts into Utopia and states that the Phoenix must die. So next issue is going to be big because they're going to have a fight with, if Kid Gladiator gave them a fight, Gladiator is going to be a force to be reckoned with. Picked up Wonder Woman issue 10, where they resolve the wedding of Wonder Woman with Hades. Again, breezed through it. I didn't read everything, but I really liked the cover. I really liked this cover. I'm really liking Wonder Woman actually. They have this. They're involving more of the Greek mythology, which I thought was something that sometimes they forget about Wonder Woman. Picked up another one of the Before Watchmen issues. This time focusing on Silk Spectre. Basically, it's just her story, how she parted ways with her mom and everything. The artwork was pretty good. The story also good. Not the best one I've read so far, but it was still pretty good. The other one that came out is Before Watchmen, the comedian. Basically, the comedian is the guy responsible for murdering uh, Marilyn Monroe because the comedian is a big friend of the Kennedys. So, Marilyn Monroe was supposedly she was with Mr. Kennedy, President Kennedy. So the comedian takes it upon himself to kill her. And I thought they were gonna go a different way with this. I thought that the comedian was gonna be the one that actually ended up killing JFK, but no, no, that didn't happen. That actually surprised me. So, and another good book by Brian Azzarello, and the artwork was also pretty good. But the one I was really looking forward to is Before Watchmen, Night Owl, because this is written by J. Michael Straczynski with artwork by Andy Kubert and inks by Joe Kubert. And I'm a huge fan of Andy Kubert. This is the book I was really, really looking forward to, and it did not disappoint. I really, really liked it. So far, Minutemen and this one are my favorite of the bunch. So I wasn't sure about Watchmen, if I'm honest. I thought it was a bad idea to do this prequel thing. But so far, the books have been good. My favorite, again, being Minutemen and Night Owl. So, yeah, I'm actually looking forward also to the Rorschach comic book. Not so much Ozymandias. I'll still pick it up. But Night Owl and Rorschach were the ones that I was really looking forward to. So, yeah, that was the comic book pickup video. Lots and lots of good reading, and next week is going to be big. It's going to be a big week, and I can't even imagine the week of Comic-Con. So, yeah. Next pickup video is going to be Comic-Con centered. By the time I actually get into doing that, I'll be back from Comic-Con. So I'll probably share all the stuff I picked up there. Mostly back issues. But whatever other stuff, I'll be sure to share on the video. So, like always, guys. Oh, actually, I forgot. I was going to give my... I always try to give a recommendation, like the standout books of the haul. I was actually about to forget that, but I'm gonna recommend Night Owl. Again, the writing is really good, and the artwork by the Kuberts I thought was really, really awesome. So I'm gonna recommend Night Owl, and I'm gonna recommend the other one which I liked, Marvel Zombies. Again, it's a silly story, but it does take place within the Marvel Zombies universe. So yeah, that actually gave it extra points in my book. So Marvel Zombies Destroy. Again, one more issue to go, and the whole thing will end. But I actually enjoyed it. I actually enjoyed these Marvel Zombies books. Okay, now I thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you all again soon. And until I do, this is Vargas XX78 signing off.